What's up, everybody? This your boy King Hussle, and yes, this is the first episode of Call It What You Want, and we have a special guest, the man himself, Matthew Cox. And I've been searching this guy for a long time. The first time I seen him was on American Greed a couple years back, and he popped up on my screen on YouTube on an interview. I think it was Concrete. He did an interview with Concrete,
Yeah.
and when I seen the interview, I was like, "Isn't that guy I just seen on American Greed a couple years back?" So I did my research and his whole story is phenomenal from him starting as a fine art student and because it all boils down from him, his profession, his real profession, fine arts. He's a fantastic drawer, painter. He has a lot of paintings, but life is life. And during life, certain things happen. So today we're going to get into the story of Matthew Cox. And here he is today. So let's talk, Matthew. So let's start from the beginning. Where are you from?
Tampa, Florida.
Tampa, Florida. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. Let's learn you. Who is Matthew Cox?
Born in Tampa. I was who was Matthew Cox? Bro, what? I'm an artist. I grew up in Tampa.
What got you into the real estate field?
I was dating a chick that was a stripper. I
Oh,
graduated school. I graduated with a degree in fine arts, but I couldn't really do, as an artist. This was in the 90s. There was no way to make any money as an artist. Well, not for me anyway. And I wasn't willing to struggle. Like you go to art school
right.
and there are guys they're like 3-4 people living in a 1-bedroom apartment.
So your first passion is fine arts.
Yeah, I would say yeah, definitely. Well, what I'd like to do if I had an inexhaustible amount of money, I would probably, write.
Movie
Write.
scripts.
Just like synopses of true crime stories, guys' true crime stories.
So basically, you would write scripts and then have people act them out.
Well, I wouldn't.
Or just tell stories on YouTube or stuff like that.
No, I would just probably write. So
novels.
No, bro, give me a second. Okay, first of all, a novel is a work of fiction.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got, novels are fiction. You have nonfiction categories. No, I don't write novels. I write true crime. So what happens is, take the movie, Saturday Night Fever, or American Gangster. Okay, American Gangster started out, it wasn't a book. American Gangster was was a series of articles that were written. Somebody turned it into a screenplay. They made a movie. The movie Blow.
Right.
Blow was a book. And that book turned into that was a true crime book, and that true crime book turned into Blow. So to me, what I want to do, did you ever see the movie Argo?
No, I haven't seen that one. I seen Blow though.
What?
I seen Blow. I haven't seen Argo.
No. So, there's tons of movies that they're basically just taken from articles, true crime articles. You read some article in. Oh, I know one. The Anna Sorky story, the con woman, the chick from came from Russia.
Yeah.
That started as a true crime article in Vanity Fair.
See, I didn't know that.
There was no book.
Okay, now I understand what you're saying. Okay.
So what happens is you write an article or a synopsis, like a 8 or 9, articles. True crime articles are between 5 to, let's say, 7,000 or 8,000 words in a magazine like Rolling Stone or something. Or you can write a synopsis, which is basically the same thing. It's like 9,000 or 10,000 words. It's not a book. It's like 30 pages. It's nothing.
Just real quick.
Right.
And they just flip it to a movie.
Right. Somebody reads it and they go, wow, this is I wrote one for a guy, a reporter named Guy Lawson, and it was these kids. We got them in Rolling Stone magazine. Right. And I just wrote a synopsis. I sent it to Guy Lawson. Guy Lawson put it in Rolling Stone magazine, and we optioned the film rights. Now it's going to become a movie. So, that's what I'd like to do. That or write books. I've written 6 or 7 books while I was locked up. So, I like that. I like painting. And I like art. I'm a creative person. So, but I ended up getting a degree in fine arts. and I couldn't really make a living doing it. And to be honest, I didn't even fucking try. I didn't make an effort. I didn't really make an effort because I didn't think, what am I going to do? I'm going to work a week on a painting and I'm going to sell it for $400 or $500. Like that's what I was selling paintings for, $300-400. And I couldn't live on that.
I mean, around that time it wasn't social media either, so it was
there was nothing like that.
It was really hard to get your painting out there.
Right. There was nothing like that. So, I started working construction jobs. That was not doing great, but I was making my bills, but barely. And then my girlfriend started working. She was a stripper and she ended up working. She was also in school. She got her degree and she started working in business. And she ended up working for a subprime lender, like a mortgage lender.
Right.
Doing mortgages. And she told me, you've got to do this. Like, you'd be great at this.
Right.
And so I started working there, and I very quickly started making, immediately, like the first month I closed like 4 loans. The next month it was 6, and then it was 8, and then it was 10, and then it was 12, and then they made me a manager. And then I opened my own place. After another 6 months or so, I opened my own place, and so I hired a bunch of guys, and it just took off.
Okay.
But I was committing fraud though. Part of a lot of the loans had fraud involved.
So what was the first? Because I watched a lot of your interviews. When did the fraud start? When was the first mistake when she did the whiteout and she changed that number?
It was me. I went in with my very first loan. I gave it to my manager to look at. She looked at it and she took one piece of paper out and she said, it's perfect except this one, the verification of rent. Your customer has been 30 days late on her rent in the last 24 months. So she had been late once by 30 days, not like a little late, like 30 days.
Whole month.
Right. And so as a result of that, you can't, no lender wants to lend money to this person.
Because of the late
no matter what the problem is. Like, you're not, so my manager told me, hey, if I was you, I would white it out, make a copy and put it in the file. Nobody will ever figure it out. So I did that. I trusted her. I knew it was wrong. I mean, we had a discussion. It was fraud. But I also was like a couple payments behind on my car. I had a truck at the time, and they were going to take my truck. I mean, I'm behind on my, like, I'm behind. And I put everything on making this work. So I did that. And, 4 or 5 days later, the loan closed and I got a check for like $3,500.
Right. So what made you keep going though? What made you just say, was it the money? Was it the greed? Was it the excitement? Was it the life?
It was easy for me. Where everybody else, first it was easy because I could change the documents. So I could easily take a bank statement and alter it. Other people couldn't do that. I could change a W-2. I could, alter the documents that came in. I could figure out how to do these things. And then it became like, okay, well, this lender is actually going to call the employer and will verify how much money the person makes.
Right.
So I can't say this guy made $55,000 when he made $49,000.
Right.
So it was like, but he needs to make more money. So I need to show that he's getting a little bit more money in. And then I would go, you know what? So you have something called debt to income ratio, right? DTI. Right. So their debt to income has to be like below 36%.
Right.
Or 36 or below. So you would go, okay, well, wait a second. This person would qualify with their current income if they weren't making this $400 car payment every month.
Right.
So how do I prove that they don't make that car payment?
How can you get that exempt, get that out the way without showing up, right?
Right, because now they make enough money. So what happens is you call underwriting and say, hey, by the way, this guy didn't even make this car payment. And they say, well, it's in his name. And I go, oh, yeah, but his ex-wife makes it. And they go, okay, well, great. So, and I go, can I get her to write a letter? And they said that, no, we need to prove she's making that payment. So we need to prove that we need to see her canceled checks.
Right.
That she's been paying it. So it's like, well, fuck, how do I figure that out? So then I call my guy and I say,
it just boils everything, every step boils into something new.
Right. So what happens is he sends me his last 6 months cancel check. So that they go, look, we won't consider that against his DTI if his ex-wife is paying it, but we have to prove she's paying it. The way we prove that is we show the last 6 months payments. If she's the one paying it, then we agree, but we have to see the canceled checks. So I have him send me the canceled checks. I then change the name on the canceled check.
Okay. How did you change the name on the check?
Well, I mean, I cut and pasted it. Then I go in and I erase his name, redraw the line, and sign her name. So now it looks like it came out of her check. And I make copies front and back, and I send them to her and go, hey, look, and I write a letter from her. And then, then if they say, well, we got to call her, fuck. So now I got to get a cell phone. So I go get a cell phone. So then when they call, it calls me.